Gary Webb's Dark Alliance series. Webb, a Mercury News staff writer, published his series in August 1996. He claimed in his article that for over 10 years in a San Francisco Bay Area drug ring sold tons of cocaine, Crips and Bloods, and funneled millions of dollars of drug profits to a Latin American guerrilla army run by the CIA. The cocaine that flooded in, Webb alleged, helped to spark a crack explosion in urban America and provided cash and connections needed for gangs to buy automatic weapons. It is one of the most bizarre alliances in modern history. He continued, the union of the U.S.-backed army attempting to overthrow a revolutionary socialist government and the Uzi-toting gangsters of Compton and South Central L.A. The series claimed to have traced the crack cocaine explosion to two Nicaraguan cocaine dealers, Oscar Blando and Meneses. Both, he argued, were involved with financing the largest of several CIA-funded and trained anti-communist groups commonly known as the Contras. Webb asserted that Blando and Meneses met with two CIA agents both before and during the time they were selling the drugs in Los Angeles. Blando, who according to Webb later became an informant for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, is alleged to have delivered up to 100 kilos a week of the cut-rate cocaine to street gangs to a black South Central drug dealer named Ricky Donald Ross. Though Ricky Donald Freeway Ross was reported to have been unaware of his supplier's military and political connections, he was quick to convert the cocaine to the more lucrative crack variant and wholesale it to gangs of Los Angeles and later across the country. Uncanny timing, wrote Webb, made the marketing strategy work. As he noted in 1996, Ross sold crack, a substance that, according to a Yale University cocaine expert, Dr. Robert Bike, is tailor-made to addict people, to the untapping black ghettos of Los Angeles, where powdered cocaine remained prohibitively expensive. It is as though, Dyke said during a congressional testimony in 1986, McDonald's founder Ray Kroc had invented the opium den. If they had been in a more respectable line of work, said Webb, Meneses and Blando and Freeway Rick Ross would have been hailed as geniuses of marketing, creating the first mass market in America for crack cocaine. Throughout the series, Webb implied that it was highly unlikely that the CIA had no knowledge of the Contraband Bay Area drug network. Among evidence to support this stance, he cited the case of Sandra Smith, a San Francisco DEA agent, having inadvertently uncovered a direct link between the cocaine trafficking and the secret army that the CIA was assembling to overthrow the government of Nicaragua. Smith was pulled from the case in 1981. She claimed that despite strong grounds to continue the investigations into Meneses, there was a lack of enthusiasm from the inquiry from her supervisors. Another official probe into the case by U.S. Customs is said to have run into the interference from national security interests, again implying some sort of tacit approval from the intelligence community. The inequity of treatment received by Blando and Ross at the Los Angeles Police Department eventually terminated their operations in late 1980s certainly seems to suggest that special dispensation existed for the Nicaraguan activists. Blando looked set to go to prison for a very long time. He was said to have sold so much cocaine that the mandatory sentences were off the scale. Nevertheless, although recommended a life sentence and a $4 million fine, Blando was sentenced to 48 months and no fine. Regarded as an extraordinarily valuable in major DEA investigations of Class 1 drug traffickers, he served only 28 months in custody and was released as a full-time paid informer. Fulfilling his role, according to Webb, Blando helped to set up a sting operation to trap his old business partner Ross in 1995. Blando reportedly earned $45,000 for his part in the scheme. Meanwhile, Ross was sentenced to life in prison in 1996. Acquaintances say that Blando was a common sight in the better restaurants of Nicaragua, drinking with his friends and telling of his escape from U.S. authorities. Meanwhile, although federal authorities had been aware of Menezes' cocaine dealing since 1974, he too avoided incarceration in the U.S. Unable to evade arrest in Nicaragua, however, he is currently serving a 40-year prison sentence for drug smuggling.